Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees for this year's IYS Yatra to Ahobilam Dham. Yas tvaya mandabhagyokto madanyo jagadishvara kvasau yadisa sarvatra kasmat stambhena drishyate. Just before Lord Narsingadev appeared, Hiranyakashipu spoke these words to Prahlada. Prahlada, where do I see that Vishnu? Yas tvaya mandabhagyokto. You are dull-witted, less intelligent. Why? Madanyo Jagadishwara, because you are calling someone apart from me as greater than me. Madanyo Jagadishwara. How can someone else be the supreme controller of this creation? This is at the very root of this entire episode of Lord Narsingadev appearing in front of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was affected by his ego. Hiranyakashipu is a representation of the false ego. And that false ego does not get destroyed anywhere. The false ego does not get destroyed outside the house. The false ego continues thriving inside the house. The false ego doesn't get destroyed in the sky. The false ego doesn't get destroyed on the ground. The false ego doesn't get destroyed by any weapons, living or dead. The false ego cannot be destroyed by any of the 8.4 million species. The false ego continues to thrive and continues to strike the conditioned living entity from within. And that false ego is the root cause of all the trauma, trouble, and pain for the conditioned jiva. Madhu klivam cha madhvike krite karma shubhashubhe bhaktanam karmanam chaiva sudanam madhusudanam. And that false ego is described to be as sweet as honey. Madhu or honey is sweet. But what is the other quality of madhu? Apart from being sweet, if you have too much of honey, it will also have an intoxicating effect. And therefore, honey is both sweet and intoxicating. Similarly, the false ego is also sweet and intoxicating. If someone glorifies us, Prabhu, only you can do this seva. Nobody else can do this. Others can do, but not like you. That sounds so sweet. Externally we say, no, Prabhu, no. But internally we say, yes. And we also think, why doesn't someone record this? That ego is deep within, and that is constantly the cause of torment for the conditioned soul. Srila Prabhupada was going for some trip outside. He entered into the kitchen and saw the Mataji was cooking samosas for him. And she was packing it in the box for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada started having one samosa, he liked it, he had one more. So the Mataji was cooking, she asked Srila Prabhupada, how many samosas will you eat? Prabhupada said, more than you can make. So that Mataji felt very, excited. And she thought, wow, looks like my cooking is so amazing, irresistible, that Prabhupada loves it so much. So the next question she asked, Srila Prabhupada, who's your favorite cook? She expected Prabhupada will say her. Prabhupada said, me, myself. So each one of us, when we start considering ourselves to be the center of the universe, that is where the false ego is bringing the attention to. And hence, Lord Narsingadev appears to destroy the representation of that ego, which is Hiranyakashipu. And hence, this principle has to be understood. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirthapada sevaya jivan apimritopisa sayam bhagavato maya vanchitam maya dridam yattat vimuktidam prapya namoksheya bandhanat. Mother Devahuti is praying, my dear Kardama Muni, you gave me the great opportunity to be purified. But if one's karma does not lead to dharma, one's dharma does not lead to vairagya, and that vairagya does not lead to bhakti, then all of one's efforts are useless. And hence, the whole purpose of all activity has to be ultimately come to the stage of bhakti. Not that we use our activities to increase our false ego and increase our ability to enjoy this material world. And then Devahuti says, there are two types of unfortunate people. First person who is unfortunate is one who does not get access to bhakti. The second unfortunate, who is more unfortunate, is one who gets the access to bhakti but does not utilize that facility. One who misuses that facility, one who misuses that association. That person is more unfortunate. So Devhuti is saying, I am in that condition. I got the association of Kardam Muni. I got that association to utilize for my spiritual benefit. But in spite of that, I did not utilize it. And therefore, having access is one thing. But then using that access to transform our aspiration is another thing. And in spite of having that association, when one does not utilize that, then that is considered to be most unfortunate. And therefore, Rudra Sanucharo Bhutva Sudriptau Dhanadaatmajau Kailasu Upavane Vanyo Mandakinyo Madotkatau Varunim Madiram Pitva Mada Ghurnitalochano Strijanai Anugayadbhir Cheratu Pushpite Vane Antapravishya Gangayam Ambhoja Vanarajini Chikriditur Nitubhir Gajav Iva Karenubhir. When Nalkuvar and Mani grew, their case study represents someone who had all the facilities. They had all the facilities, they had all the access for highest association. Associates of Rudra, sons of Kubera, residents in Kailash, and taking bath in Mandakini. But what was their activity? Varunim Madiram Pitva. Engaged in intoxication. And then associating with beautiful girls. In the Mandakini, Ganga is supposed to be used for purifying. But they are engaged in intoxication and womanizing in Mandakini Ganga. Mada Ghurnita Lochanau. And their eyes were completely rolling in intoxication. And that intoxication is caused by what? Narad Muni, when he comes there, he analyzes and he says that dhanastambhaihi stri madat abhijatyadair yatra stri dyutam asava. It begins when one starts thinking, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, and the root of that is when you have unlimited money, power, control, and think that I am the center. And therefore, they are completely intoxicated and completely oblivious to the presence of Narada Muni. So, one of the biggest challenges people face in youth is transforming habits. And when I was in IIT also, I experienced this, and I've shared this story that when we had the preacher at IIT come and give lectures, hardly one or two of us would attend. I could never have imagined in 1992 that I would be sitting in a hall with 500 youth like this, with tilak, with dhoti kurta, in Ahobilam, to hear and chant glories of Krishna. That time we thought that only two people are interested in ISKCON. And of course the preacher, who's the third. And we used to feel sorry for the preacher. Poor guy. So then the lecture was on Jagai, Madhai, how they were delivered and everything. And I got very inspired that if such drunkards and such criminals, they get reformed and the whole Bengal transforms, I should get one or two from my hostel. And if they get transformed, whole hostel will get transformed. So when you're new, you are enthusiastic. So I went to the biggest drunkard in my hostel, who was my good friend. So you can imagine my quality also. So I approached him. And by the way, he was in intoxicated state already. Because he was always in that bhav. So when I approached him, I said, this Saturday you must come with me for a program. Excellent program. He said, what program? I said, Bhagavad Gita lecture. He looked at me and said, Piya hua hai kya tu? Whom are you calling for this? Me. You think I will attend? I said, every sinner has a future. So you please come. So he said, I will come on one condition. I will bring the bottle of liquor with me in the Gita lecture. This is IIT, It's not easy to convince people. So he looked at me and said, I will bring liquor bottle with me. Will ISKCON allow that? So I got bewildered. I thought maybe I should ask the temple. A friend is coming, but he will bring liquor bottle with him. Will you allow that? Then I thought the temple people will tell me, tum bhi mat aao. Gaye guzre log nahi chahiye. But because I had already invited, sometimes ego comes to your rescue. So I thought, I have to get him. So I said, you must come. I said, I will bring the bottle. Bring the bottle. So on that day he came. Our lectures used to be morning 11 to 1 o'clock, ending with lunch. Most important. So we started at 10:30. He took the bottle with him, started drinking on the way. He finished half. His sadhana was pakka. So as we were entering, I told him, don't take the bottle inside. Keep it above the door. ऊपर रख दे भाई, अंदर मत लेके जा. He looked at me and said, ISKCON वाला पी तो नहीं जाएगा. I said, ये लोग इतने शरीफ हैं, चाय कॉफी तक नहीं पीते. पता नहीं जीते कैसे हैं. So he said, okay fine, I'll keep it there. Then I said, I have one condition. You will not open your mouth because smell will come. He said, खाना मिलेगा ना? I said, हाँ मिलेगा, चुप बैठना. So he came inside, sat next to me. So usually there would be only two people. That day there was extra one guy. So the preacher was also very happy. So his attention went on the new person. Said, what is your name? I said, his name is so and so. Then the preacher looked at him and said, which year you are in? I said, 4th year. Which branch? I said, chemical. And the preacher was looking at me thinking, I am asking him question. Why is he asking? I told the preacher, मेरा दोस्त बहुत शर्माता है. So in the middle of the lecture, this guy knocked me like this and said, कब तक lecture देगा? I said, यहाँ पहले philosophy पिलाते हैं, फिर प्रसाद खिलाते हैं. I said, अच्छा अच्छा. He got up, went out, finished the bottle and came back. That is called viraha. He could not handle that separation. So one may think, I am controlling this, I am controlling this, I am controlling that. But the habits and the mind and the senses control us and make us puppet in their hands. And you all come to the association of devotees in these yatras to learn how not to remain puppets in the hands of Maya, but to become puppet in the hands of Krishna. So then we went inside, he came back again, lecture ended. Then this preacher was very positive, enthusiastic. He took the beads and showed it to this friend of mine and said, will you chant? He said, I looked at him and said, hey, this is serious commitment. He said, मुझे पूछ रहे हो, आपका क्या जा रहा है? So he took the beads, put it around his neck. There was a mirror there. He was adjusting the beads around his neck and said, smart lag raha hai. And then he went to the hostel, had beads in one hand, liquor in another hand, and he said, ISKCON join kar liya hu. And it took me 1 week to take the beads from his hands. He could not give up liquor even till today. So therefore, when we are looking at transformation, just having association and access is not sufficient. What is important is determination. And that determination comes when we make a sankalpa that I will change my life. Otherwise, it is not that Hiranyakashipu did not have association of Narada Muni. He had association of Narada Muni. Prahlada Maharaj also had association of Narada Muni. But just having the association is not sufficient. How does that association allow you to transform your aspiration will depend on your sankalpa. And unless you make that sankalpa, whatever has happened in the past, now I will change. Nothing else will happen. And therefore, Nirvairaya Prashantaya Swasutaya Mahatmane Praharadaya Yada Druhye Hanishyepi Varorjitam. When Hiranyakashipu was demonstrating his unlimited power, Lord Vishnu assured the demigods, the hope for you is that this Hiranyakashipu is unable to discriminate where to unleash his power, and he is unleashing his power on a pure devotee, Prahlad, tormenting him, trying to destroy him, insulting him, and this aparad will result in his destruction. Why? Prahlad is nirvairaya, without any enemies, prashantaya, fully peaceful, mahatmane, he is a mahatma, praharadaya yada druhyet, when he does droha, violence against Prahlad, hanishyepi, he will be destroyed, vara urjitam, in spite of having all the vardhan, all the blessings. And therefore, there is no hope for someone who offends Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So therefore, we come to the origin of where this ego manifests. How this false ego actually manifests. How this enjoyment propensity manifests. This enjoyment propensity, thinking that I am the center of the universe and every object, person, position, people are meant for my pleasure, originates when we do a certain thing. And what is that? Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanamutaya manvantara ishanukata nirodha muktirashraya dashamasya vishuddhartam namanamiha lakshanam varnayanti mahatmana shutenartena anjasa. The 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam include one which is known as Uti, Shubh, Ashubh, Ichha. Auspicious desires and inauspicious desires. What is auspicious desires? The desire to serve. What is inauspicious desire? The desire to enjoy. Now the question is, how come in one family Hiranyakashipu had obsessive desire to enjoy and Prahlad had such intense desire to serve? How come one was an embodiment of ego and the son was an embodiment of humility? How could such contrast be within one family? And the Srimad Bhagavatam explains this. When Jay and Vijay were standing at the gates of Vaikuntha, and they were standing and looking towards the 4 Kumaras. And the 4 Kumaras wanted to enter Vaikuntha, they stopped them. And when they stopped, the 4 Kumaras became angry and cursed Jay and Vijay. The curse of the Kumaras, the Vaishnav Shrapa, becomes the seed for Bhoga Ichha. Displeasure of the devotees becomes the seed for creating obsessive compulsive desires to enjoy. And this is at the very crux of this entire episode. When we displease the devotees, that displeasure of the devotees creates desire to enjoy. That displeasure and the curse of the devotees takes away the ability to control the senses, to control the mind, to create determination, to develop sense control. All of these desires, all of these abilities are finished. when the devotees become displeased with us. And that's what Lord Vishnu is sharing with all the demigods when they are coming with Hiranyakashipu's problem. Sa ittam nirjitakako ekarad vishayan priyan yadhopajosham bunjano natripyat ajitendriya. And what was Hiranyakashipu's desire to enjoy? Sa ittam nirjitakako. He had such power he could control and conquer all the four directions. Vishayan priyan. But he thought every sense object is for me to enjoy. Yathopajosham bhunjano, the way I want, the way I like, to the extent I want. Na atripyat. He could not be satisfied in spite of repeated enjoyment. Why? Ajitendriya. His senses were not under control. And therefore, we should realize that the nature of sense gratification is the more we try to enjoy, the more we become dissatisfied. And the more we try to enjoy further, that dissatisfaction grows into frustration. And hence, sense gratification is a never ending cycle of frustration. Santam samipe ramanam pradam vitta pradam nityamimam vihaya akamadam dukkhamayadi shoka moha pradattuchamaham bhajegya. Pingala, the prostitute, she is expressing that the more we try to enjoy, it is akamadam, desires get unfulfilled, dukkha, we get distress, bhaya, fear, shoka, we ultimately get so much of shoka, lamentation, moha, illusion, tucchamaham bhajegya. That is the situation of sense gratification. There was this temple in California, and they were having the Narsingha Chaturdashi festival. And it was like early days of ISKCON, young brahmacharis, enthusiastic, chanting, dancing, but they were not used to fasting. So it was evening time, sunset, and after that only you can break the fast. So during Aarti, they all saw fantastic bhoga being offered. The offering was over, the Aarti was going on, they were looking at the varieties of prasad. And one was particularly attractive. It was a carob cake. It looked so attractive. Everyone was thinking, when will I get hold of that cake? So after that, there was prasad. They were all sitting in line, and the first person got one piece of the cake. He immediately pounced on the cake and took a bite. The cook had made one mistake, forgot to add sugar in that cake. That cake tasted horrible. But this devotee had been contemplating for so long, he could not believe it. What I expected to give pleasure, how can it give pain? If I have decided that it will give pleasure, it has to give pleasure. How can it give pain? So he kept looking at that cake with shock, disbelief, and most important, denial. So he thought, maybe I bit the cake from the wrong side. He turned the cake around and took a bite from another side. What do you think was the taste of the cake? Good or bad? Wow. You guys are so intelligent. Still, he could not believe it. He turned the cake around and took the bite from a third side. How was the taste? Good or bad? Bad. Amazing. We must give a clap to your intelligence. You have cracked the code. You got it. You are beyond AI. The taste from any direction will be bad. Why? The ingredient which gives the taste of sweetness is not there inside. But he did not give up. He kept the cake down and continued eating rice dal, but kept looking at the cake. Come on, he's not as intelligent as you to get it at one shot. So after some time, he thought maybe the timing was not right. He picked it up again. How was the taste? Wow. So therefore, within the sense objects, there is nothing which can actually give the sweet taste. And that's what Krishna says in the Gita. Yahi samsparshaja bhoga dukkayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate budhaha. The intelligent people do not indulge in sense objects. Why? Because they understand it is inherently going to give pain. And therefore, Hiranyakashipu, in spite of repeated sense gratification, was still miserable. Because that's the nature of sense gratification. It just pulls you into an unlimited quicksand of frustration. It pulls you into the quicksand of desperation, depression, defeat. And we have to replace that with the feelings of determination, dedication, being decisive. And that transformation only happens when there is the right association. In that right association, we develop the right aspirations. When you have the association and the aspiration, then only you can follow up with the appropriate action. Otherwise, you will continue to remain miserable. That is the situation of life in this material world. And therefore, Rup and Sanatan, when they meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they say, Jagai madai hoite koti koti gun, adhama patita Prabhu amiduijan, mlecha jati mlecha sevi, kori mlecha karma, go brahmana drohe sange amara sangam. Mora karma mora hate galaye bandhiya, ko vishaya vishta garthe diya che phelaiya. My dear Lord, we are more miserable than Jagai and Madhai. A person gets elevated or he gets into material world because of three things. Elevation and degradation is because of three things. One's birth, one's association, and one's occupation. We may not have too much control over our birth and our occupation, but we have full control over our association. And that association is what which creates transformation. And here we find that Jagai and Madhai, they had the association of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and that created the transformation. Nalakuver and Manigriva had the association of Narada Muni, and they were cursed. But that curse ultimately brought them and elevated them from Kailash to Gokul, and as a result, they got the association of Lord Damodar. Sadhunam samajittanam sutaramat kritatmanam Darshanam no bhavet bandha pumsah akshnor savitur yatha. Just like in the presence of the sun, darkness cannot arise. In the presence of association of sadhus, ignorance cannot stay. Material desires cannot stay. The obsessive desires for sense gratification has to dissolve, just like ice has to melt in the presence of the sun. And therefore, the fundamental principle is everybody may get access to that association. But when that association comes, how do we absorb that association? Because here was Jay and Vijay. At the gates of Vaikuntha, there is danger even at the gates of Vaikuntha. And what is the danger? When the association comes walking to you, how do you deal with that association? Do you deal with that association? Do you deal with those devotees respectfully or neglectfully? Neglectful dealings will ultimately result in negative desires spreading over the heart and creating hellish situation. And that's what is the crux of this entire episode. That what happened to Hiranyakashipu is only a detail. The essence was he neglected dealing with four Kumaras the way he should have dealt with respect, with feeling, with sensitivity, with proper understanding of their stature, with tolerance, with great understanding of their position, with realization that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And therefore, more people land in miserable condition in life because of misuse of their position in the association than because of not having the association. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness so that each one of us can experience the consciousness of Prahlada and not the consciousness of Hiranyakashipu. What was consciousness of Prahlada? Nodvigna chettom vyasaneshu nispraha shuteshu drishteshu guneshu avastudrik dantendriya prana shariradhi sadam prashanta kamo rahita surasura. Na udvigna chitto vyasaneshu. In spite of presence of sense objects, he would not get agitated. Shuteshu drishteshu guneshu avastudrik. All kinds of sense objects which he had heard about, which he had seen, or which we were dreamt about in the next life, in other planets, he was not interested. Why? Danta Indriya Prana Sharira. He had full control over his bodily senses and his subtle senses. Prashanta Kamo. And because of that sense control, he was completely peaceful. And Rahita Sura. Although he was in Asuric family, he did not have qualities of Asura. He did not have the desires of Asura. And what is Asura? Asu Ramante iti Asura. Asu means the breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. An activity we are doing unconsciously millions of times every single day. That's called Asu. Our life breath. And Asura means one who will do anything to keep his life breath moving. And to keep the life breath moving, that person will even torment anybody to any extent. just so that his or her life breath keeps moving. That means embodiment of selfishness. And that's what Hiranyakashipu is demonstrating. The obsessive desire to enjoy as against Prahlad, embodiment of being a servant. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada established the Krishna consciousness movement so that we can actually be in the mood of being a servant, the mood of being a das. And therefore, when we get initiated, we get the name das. So, in one initiation, Prabhupada was giving the names, and after that, some devotees were comparing. My name is so and so Das. My name is better than your name. Prabhupada said, this is ridiculous discussion. The most important name is Das. So Prabhupada had one disciple who was from Germany. His name was Hans Carey. And he was staying in America. So people would make fun of him because it was a different sounding name in America. Because everyone could understand this is a German name. Hans Carey. So when someone from one part is in another part, the name becomes subject of discussion and sometimes ridicule. Like we are here in South. So sometimes you have long names. Kanakapati Apalachalam Sankaralingam Zagapati Raju. That is one name. Passport officer will think 4 passports are being made. When you go to China, name is very simple. Who? Name is over. So when he was getting initiated, he thought, at least after initiation, my name will change. So Prabhupada gave him the name Hamsaduta Adhikari. So he asked Prabhupada, what is this name? Prabhupada said, what was your original name? Hans. I have added Duta to that. Hansa Duta. What is your second name? Kari. I have added Adhikari. So he said, after Diksha also name did not change. Prabhupada said, most important part of the name is. So he said, Prabhupada, what is the meaning of this? Prabhupada said, read the Bhagavatam. You'll understand. So he was reading and reading, he could not figure out what is the meaning. Then one day Prabhupada was sitting and saying, Brahmanand means this, Gargamuni means this particular name means this. So he thought this is a good day to ask Prabhupada the meaning of my name. He said, Prabhupada, who is Hamsaduta? Prabhupada said, you. And then Prabhupada said, the most important part of the name is Das. Ahankriti makkarasyat nakaratan nishedaka tasmat namasa kshetri swatantriyam pratishidhyate. When we say Namaha, which means what? Ma represents ego. Na represents giving up of that ego. So Namaha basically means I am a servant and I want to be your servant. I want to fulfill your desire. And that is what here is represented by Shri Prahlad Maharaj. I want to be your servant. When Lord Narsingadev appears in front of Prahlad, Prahlad Maharaj begins his prayers and says, Manye janabijan rupa tapashruta uja teja prabhava bala paurusha buddhi yoga naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya pumso bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajaryutha paya. My dear Lord Narsingadev, you cannot be pleased by wealth, birth, education, etc., etc. Teja, Prabhava, Bala, Paurusha, Buddhi, Yoga, Naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya pumso. You cannot be pleased and worshipped by any other way except bhakti. Bhaktya Tutosha Bhagavan. And he says, Gajayutha Paya. And the example is Gajendra. Gajendra worshipped you and pleased you. Why? Because Gajendra in the last life was Indradumna Maharaj. And when Agastya Rishi came, he cursed Indradumna Maharaj for not respecting and worshipping him. Indradumna Maharaj's response was that of respect and sensitivity, was that of tolerance, was that of humility. And if Agastya Rishi cursed Indradumna Maharaj and Indradumna Maharaj counter cursed him, Agastya Rishi told him, become an elephant. Indradumna Maharaj could have, you become tiger, you become snake. You could have told him anything. But he did not believe in tit for tat. So therefore, the important point is, life is all a battle. Every moment in life is battle. But what Bhagavatam is sharing with us, choose your battles carefully. You do not have to fight every battle. You do not have to react to every agitation. You do not have to try to counteract every allegation and attack made upon you. You have to choose when to fight, when not to fight. So the survival of our consciousness in the long run in Krishna consciousness depends on how we decide not to fight. And that becomes the crucial differentiating factor. So here was Indradumna Maharaj, whose sadhana was impeccable, but more importantly, his sensitivity towards the sevaks was impeccable. So all the three things are required. You need sadhana, you need seva, but you also need sensitivity towards the sevaks. You must have intensity in sadhana, you must have consistency in seva, but the differentiating factor is your sensitivity towards other sevaks. So Indradumna Maharaj was sensitive towards the agitation of Agastya. For that, he had to go through the life as Gajendra. But then, because of that, evam vyavasita buddhya samadhaya manohridi jajapa paramam japyam prak janma anushikshitam. As Gajendra, Indradumna Maharaj lost his kingdom, lost his wealth, lost his beautiful body. But what did Indradumna Maharaj retain? He retained his consciousness and memory of Krishna consciousness. Indradumna Maharaj could have retaliated. If he had retaliated, he would have lost his Krishna consciousness. Because instead of retaliation, Indradumna Maharaj chose tolerance. He lost his wealth, but he regained his consciousness and memory. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is moment to moment choices. And therefore, when we see in this episode that Gajendra is ultimately able to remember the Lord, so we should remember that we have come to the Krishna consciousness movement to enhance our remembrance of Krishna. When you go to the stock market, your priority is return on investment. When you go to the gym, your priority is return on my physical body, on the hours I'm spending here, in terms of flexibility, resilience, strength. Wherever you invest time, you're looking for a specific return. If all of you have spent 5 days coming here to Ahobilam in the association of devotees, giving up so many other priorities, what is the return you're looking at in this investment of time of yours? Enhanced remembrance of Krishna. Remembrance of Krishna in every situation. But that remembrance is given by Krishna. That remembrance is not something which you can artificially grab. That remembrance is not your IQ. That remembrance is not based on your past life skills. That remembrance is a gift given by Krishna. When he is pleased with the intensity of your sadhana, the consistency of your seva, and the sensitivity of your dealings with other sevaks. So therefore, every field has its own unique logic for making choices. Every field has its own fundamental foundations for choice making. The foundation for making our choices in Krishna consciousness is remembrance. When I make this choice, will it enhance my remembrance of Krishna, or will it facilitate forgetfulness of Krishna? Because that was the difference between father and son. Son could remember Krishna at will. Father could not even understand Krishna is standing in front, even after he saw him coming out from that stambha. Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmana adrishyata ati adbhuta rupamudvaham stambhe sabhayam namrgam namanusham. To keep the word of Prahlad, Lord appeared in the form of half man, half lion. But Hiranyakashipu, forget, remember, he could not even recognize. It is the grossest level of ignorance. Lord is standing and saying, I am here. Like, who is this? I will kill him. That is the effect of being cursed by the Lord and the Lord's devotees. And whereas Prahlad here is praying to the Lord, I am standing as the son of an asura and I don't know how we will glorify you. And the Lord Nrsimhadev is saying, what do you want? What do you want? Please tell me. It is the aspiration of a sadhaka to have Lord Nrsimhadev manifest. Just imagine Lord Nrsimhadev manifests to you and places his hand upon you, standing right in front. So you may think, wow, this is success. Paisa vasool hua. Bhakti safal ho gayi. Bhagavan prakat ho gaye. So here is Lord Nrsimhadev standing right in front of Prahlad. But what is Prahlad saying? Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama abhikama manoya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasa surarshina bhagavan grihita soham katham nuvisrijeta babhritya sebam. My dear Lord, I do not aspire for your direct darshan. I am happy that I am getting your darshan, but for someone who has gone through such sinful background, how could I get your darshan? It was only because there was a point in time when I got the association of someone. Who was that? Narad Muni. Because of hearing Bhagavad Katha from Narad Muni, I could transform my heart, transform my intentions, transform my inspiration, utilize my intelligence, live life with integrity, and practice bhakti with intensity, then only I could have your impactful darshan. Otherwise, it was not possible. But now, because of Sripad Narad Muni's unlimited blessings upon me, I got your darshan. I want to repay that. How do I repay? Give me an opportunity to serve him once. Lord Narsingadev is standing in front of Prahlad, and Prahlad is asking for what? Vaishnav Seva. Krishna is right in front of him, but he is asking what? Vaishnav Seva. Which means, which is a higher aspiration? Krishna Seva or Vaishnav Seva? And how many of you have opportunity for Vaishnav Seva? Which means you have already achieved the highest aspiration. But still, why are you morose? Why is the mind still grumbling? I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Why did he look at me like this? Why did he WhatsApp me this message? Why did he not respond to my message? Why did I not get that girlfriend? Why did I not get that job? Why did I not get that promotion? These grumblings of the mind are of no use. We are already achieved the highest. That is what Prahlad is demonstrating. And therefore we chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And what is the meaning of the Mahamantra? Please engage me in your service. When the service comes, we start thinking, please engage him in your service. And the Lord gets confused. अरे 2 घंटा चिल्लाया, सेवा दो, सेवा दो, सेवा दो, सेवा दो, प्रभु सेवा दीजिए, सेवा दीजिए, सेवा दीजिए, सेवा दीजिए. अब जब सेवा आया, क्यों आ गया? So therefore, we chant the holy names thinking that the Lord will not take our prayer seriously. And when the service comes, we get confused. अरे, आपने serious ले लिया? मैं तो मजाक कर रहा था. So the Lord is very, very sincere. तो बेचारा मांग रहा है, सेवा मांग रहा है. So that's how the service comes. One devotee of Prabhupada wanted him to become president. This devotee did not want. So he wrote a long list of reasons how he cannot be president and put it in his pocket and came to Prabhupada. He offered obeisances and said to Prabhupada, any seva? So he thought Prabhupada will say, become president, and then he will bring out his list. क्यों मैं सेवा नहीं कर सकता? List of excuses. So he said, any seva? Prabhupada said, yes. He said, please tell me. Prabhupada said, take sannyas. He got bewildered. What? Take sannyas? He had heard some other rumor. What he was hearing was something different. He said, Prabhupada, how can I take sannyas? I am so young. Prabhupada said, so what? Age is not a factor. Qualification is factor. Prabhupada, I am not qualified. Prabhupada said, take sannyas, qualification will come. Said, Prabhupada, I got a small son, I am married. Prabhupada said, Krishna will take care. Take sannyas. His mind was reeling and reeling and reeling. Got totally bewildered. He said, Prabhupada, I can do anything in life except take sannyas. Prabhupada said, become president. So many times we are thinking, I hope I don't get this seva. But then ultimately you'll end up getting that. In my own experience also, when I first came to Krishna consciousness, I was sent to the kitchen. I didn't like it, but I was doing it. I liked some part of it. I didn't like many other parts. But then, 1 week after I joined, one more devotee joined, and he was very, very upset because asked him to make chapatis. He looked at me and he said, कितना बड़ा preacher हूँ मैं, इस्कॉन आया प्रचार करने, चपाती बनाने नहीं. So I told him, मुझे क्यों बोल रहा है यार, मैं भी तो चपाती बनाया. So that was the difficult part in the kitchen, to get others to also be aligned. Because between you and fire, you can do many things. But the fire from others is difficult to handle. So then after 1 month again he came, he said, I'm going home. मैं घर जा रहा हूँ. मैंने कहा, अरे क्या हो गया? अभी तो ज्वाइन किए. मैं जा रहा हूँ. I am upset with you. अरे बाप रे, I am the cause. He says, not only you, everybody, the whole leadership. मेरा टैलेंट नहीं पहचाने. क्या टैलेंट लेके आया था? क्या दिया? लेक्चर देने आया था, चपाती बनाने. He went, and 10 years later when I met him, he was married. He came up to me and said, मंदिर से गया, शादी हो गई, और पत्नी को बैक पेन हो गया, घर पे रोज चपाती मैं ही बनाता. Then he added, मंदिर में ही बना लेता तो अच्छा था. So when the service comes, are we accepting that seva with gratitude or with feelings of grudge? Right? Same with, Govardhan eco village. None of us wanted to be there. Radhanath Maharaj wanted. There was a farm, and 4 or 5 our devotees were there in the farm. And they were also happy in the farm. They didn't like city so much. We didn't like farm so much. So it was win-win situation. Right? And even the other brahmacharis would be so afraid of going to the farm, we would threaten them. Behave कर ले, नहीं तो वाड़ा भेज देगा. नहीं, आप जो बोलेंगे करेंगे. वाड़ा मत भेजना. So that was like the ultimate threat. सुधर जा, नहीं तो वाड़ा भेज देगा. Seriously, that used to be the situation. And Westerners would come, and after staying 1 or 2 days in Chowpatty, they would say, anything else to see here? And we would say, yeah, we have a farm. Oh, farm, wow! That's so beautiful. Amazing. What do you do? Agriculture, cow protection, nature, fruits, flowers, trees. I said, oh, wow, we want to go there. Please, let's go. I said, you go. Yeah, but what about you? What about you? Vaishnav Seva, you be happy. So that was the mood. And so things were moving slowly. But then Radhanath Maharaj wanted to accelerate, change the gear. So he is a personality who has unlimited patience and unlimited impatience. Both in one. If you want to understand, then you have to be with him. It cannot be explained in a lecture. It has to be experienced. So when the impatience time came, he said, now it is 2009. In 2010, I am going to become 60 years of age. I want this project as a gift for my 60th birthday. In India, 60th birthday is considered very, very important, and children give to the parents something special. So I want this Govardhan project. So I told him, this is not fair. Now you are putting emotional pressure. He said, what to do? You are not responding to the regular request. So I have to add extra. So I put a notice in the Chowpatty temple, blank sheet of paper. Anybody wants to sign up to do some seva for 60th birthday offering to Radhanath, write your name. And I thought it will get full. 1 week, not a single name. Not a single name. I got shocked. I went to Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, nobody's interested. Finance committee not interested. Congregation not interested. Brahmachari ashram not at all interested. I am not interested. Looks like the only person interested is you. Then I said, I suggest if you forget this idea, life will become peaceful for everybody. He said, no. Srila Prabhupada wants this and it must be done. Bhakti is not based on your experience. It is based on the Acharya's pleasure in their experience. Even if it is going to be difficult, you have to do it. So as I said, any major transformation happens in bhakti not because of sadhan, but because of sankalpa and sadhana of the devotees. And it is just because of his sankalpa. Then I told him, then, we have to send people there who have no choice. He said, who's that? I said, the trainees, the new bhaktas, who are just going to join in the next few weeks. So he said, that's a good idea. So we got all the new bhaktas who were passing out from the brahmachari training, and Maharaj gave a whole lecture to them. The whole lecture was on farm community. And they were wondering, we are sitting in Chowpatty, lecture is on farm. What is the connection? Then Maharaj said, you may be thinking why I am speaking about the farm. He said, yes, it's because I want you to go there. And that's how on May 1st, 2010, 25 brahmacharis landed in GEB. They still call it May 1st Labor Day. But I was 17 years in ISKCON by then, and they were just in their first month as a full-time devotee. So there was a difference of 17 years. But each one of them had stayed in the different bases of IYS. The way they have been tested all through these years, none of you can imagine. But all I can say is the entire Govardhan Eco Village project could be created, established, and come to the stage it is today because of the training which all of them received in IYS, and therefore the GV is a project which has been established and created by the IYS. Many of you as preachers have inspired those devotees, but you have not worked with them and not tested them and seen how they have come out when put under severe pressure. So therefore, this is something which is so important for us to realize, that this process which Srila Prabhupada has given is genuine, is real. It creates transformation from sense gratification tendency to the desire to serve. And when the naming time came, I I was searching the Google and I looked at something called Eco Village. I liked the name. Why I didn't know, I just liked it. I didn't even know what is Eco Village. And I started looking sustainability, this, that, everything. So I went to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, looks like Western people like this name, Eco Village. So let's change the name from Govardhan Farm to Govardhan Eco Village. What do you think? Maharaj said, give whatever name you want, but stay there and work. नाम इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, काम इंपॉर्टेंट है, भागना मत वहां से. Then I said, we are doing so much of work and struggle building this, Maharaj. Who will come? Will anybody come? The only residents here seem to be cobras and vipers and great poisonous snakes and wild boars. वाइल्ड बोर्स, जंगली सुअर रात को घूमते थे. एक ब्रह्मचारी इतना जोर से खर्राटे मारता था, भाग जाते थे सुअर. Who will come? Who will come? Who will come? And Maharaj said, you focus on building this. Krishna will send the people. So, our only credit was we continued serving in spite of not being convinced at all. All these boys, when they landed, they looked at me in the heat of summer, everything brown, and they asking me, why are we here? And I looked at them and said, I'm also thinking same thing. Let us both figure it out together. And so in 2024 and 2025, the number of pilgrims who visited GEB was 10 lakh people each year. So therefore, we are in Ahobilam, an ancient traditional Tirtha Kshetra. But the Govardhan Eco Village is a model of a green field, new Tirtha Kshetra created by the sankalpa of a devotee. And therefore, when we are here, we should offer our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev to protect us from the tendency to judge the devotees, criticize the devotees, to insult the devotees, to disrespect the devotees, to act neglectfully towards the devotees. And therefore Rupa Goswami wrote NOI, because we have a tendency for NOI, neglectful, offensive and inattentive dealings towards the devotees. Therefore there is NOI. So we should pray for that protection. And pray to Prahlada Maharaj to offer us the consciousness with which he was serving. The consciousness of being grateful, of being humble, of being given an opportunity to serve. And even when Nrsimhadev is standing, he is only praying, let me serve Narad Muni. Let us pray to Prahlada Maharaj to offer us the intelligence, the discrimination by which we understand how to value the association of devotees. We may be in the association and we are searching for something else. Prahlada has Nrsimhadev in front of him, but he is searching for Narad Muni. We pray to Prahlada to give us that consciousness that by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we are surrounded by devotees. And all we need to do is be conscious towards those devotees and constantly serve them with constant feeling of gratitude, humility and respect. So, I'm very grateful to His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for establishing ISKCON society, which has given hope to millions of souls, provided association and immediate connection with the Abhideya process to realize the Prayojan. To Srila Prabhupada for translating the books in the English language so that all of us could find the Bhagavatam accessible. Otherwise, seventh canto, how many of us would have studied in Sanskrit and understood? Therefore, it is Srila Prabhupada's grace. I offer my respects to all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj, His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj, Bhakticharu Maharaj, Bhanu Maharaj, these devotees who led ISKCON in India after Srila Prabhupada's departure. Because who would have imagined how ISKCON would have grown after the founder's departure? In 1977, ISKCON had only 108 temples. Today, ISKCON has 1,300 temples in 120 countries with 550 million Gitas distributed in 80 languages. This is because we have to credit the leadership who has remained stable, who has remained completely loyal to Srila Prabhupada and the teachings. So we are who we are because of so many others' contribution. And that is what we should learn from Prahlada. 330 million demigods could not do what he did, come in front of Narsingadev when he was angry. But still, he is only remembering Narad Muni. Let us always remember all those people who had a role to play in bringing us to Krishna, in helping us serve Krishna, and maintaining our consciousness to serve Krishna. Today, in Ahobilam Kshetra, that should be our prayer. The prayer for gratitude, prayer for remembrance, prayer for reciprocation with the devotees. And I want to especially thank His Grace Chandakesha Prabhu and his good wife who are leading ISKCON Ahobilam and created such an amazing facility for the Devotees Association. I request both Prabhuji and Mataji to come here on the stage. Because we have been coming to Ahobilam for many, many years. First was 1999, and then again I came in 2014. Chaitanya Lila Prabhu and Brajmohan Prabhu had organized that Yatra. I offer my prayers to Lord Narsingadev for Chaitanya Lila Prabhu's father and mother who are going through health crisis. That was one of the best Yatras I experienced. And Prabhu, I was always thinking when we will have good facilities and good stay facilities and nice satsang facilities for Katha and Kirtan of ISKCON devotees here in Ahobilam, and by Srila Prabhupada's blessings and His Holiness Shukadev Maharaj's inspiration, Chandakesha Prabhu and what Mataji's name? Lokeshwari Radha Devi and Chandakesha Prabhu have created an amazing, amazing facility touching the heart of all the devotees. Let us express our heartfelt gratitude by loudly, loudly chanting.